So, about a week ago, I was looking through some CFN stats on an unrelated project, and I noticed something a little unusual at the top of the CFN leaderboards. Now, I didn't take a screenshot when I saw it, but thankfully someone else did, so I'll show you that screenshot right now. It is this. So, I noticed that there was a interesting player sitting at the #1 spot in the MR leaderboards. But this is Yukari. So Yukari is a Japanese Blanka player who is quite regularly sitting at the top or near the top of the global leaderboards. So you're probably thinking, alright, so they're a Blanka player, right? What's the big deal? So Yukari is not just a Blanka player. When I open the profile, you may have noticed something in the top right hand corner of the screen. Yukari is a modern Blanka player. The moment that I saw that M, I kind of had a realization, which is that I don't think I have ever once in my life played against a modern Blanka player, especially in Master Rank. I don't think I've ever seen that. So I had to know more. You know, I was tantalized at this point. I had to find out what was going on, you know, what tools are available to modern Blanka and why I had never seen a single modern Blanka before. And here's the answer. Modern Blanka sucks. That's the most simple way that I can put it. Like, really, really bad. Maybe the single biggest downgrade of any character over their classic counterpart. So I've talked a bit in the past about modern characters that are on a similar power level to their classic versions. Modern Lily, modern Luke, modern Chun-Li, for example. These characters are all, like, pretty good. They're, like, similar to their classic versions. Modern Blanka is at the absolute opposite end of the spectrum. So I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of what you lose out on by picking Modern Blanka. Alright, so right off the bat, Modern Blanka does not have access to Standing Medium Punch. This thing right here, which is a good poke. It's got nice range. It doesn't really lead to anything, you know, it's just sort of the kind of normal that you just fish with in neutral. If this was all he was missing, like, it wouldn't be a big problem, but it gets so much worse from here, okay? So as well as that, Modern Blanka also loses Jumping Medium Punch, this thing, which if this hits air to air, it's a juggle starter. And it's actually a really important part of a lot of Blanka's combo routes. So for example, anytime you land EX Blanka Ball, this is a very common combo. This is like his best combo ender from EX Blanka Ball. Jump Medium Punch into Air Blanka Ball. Great damage, great O-key, and a side switch if you need it. He just straight up doesn't have access to that combo in Modern. You have to settle for a, like, far inferior combo and do something like this, which does worse damage and gives worse O-key. So that's already a really bad normal to lose in Modern. It gets even worse. Modern Blanka straight up does not have access to Forward Medium Punch, which is his overhead. His only overhead. It's just straight up gone. So this is a huge part of Blanka's mix-up game. You know, even in neutral or like on a basic knockdown, you know, Drive Rush overhead is always a strong thing to have. He just straight up does not have Drive Rush overhead in Modern. And that's just the Drive Rush version. You have to remember that Blanka's set play in the corner is also, like, completely dependent on high-low mix-ups. So for example, like, anytime Blanka in the corner does this and sets up the Blanka-chan, Modern Blanka straight up cannot open you up with an overhead. Like, he does not have access to this kind of stuff. He just loses a huge component of his mix-up game, which is one of his strongest features. Not having access to his overhead means that his corner set play is now significantly worse. So that's a really bad normal to lose as well. And now up to this point, you've probably thought the list ends here. Those are some pretty key normals to lose. But he also loses a, frankly, unbelievable normal. So if you guys don't know, Modern Blanka does not have access at all to Crouching Medium Punch. Which, I mean, if you've played this game a lot, that statement should stand by itself. This is Blanka's button. You know how I've talked in the past about how, like, Lily is a one-button character with Lily's Crouch Heavy Punch? Blanka's not quite that centralized, but this is, like, the closest approximation to that button in terms of Blanka. So this is probably Blanka's single best normal. It's a gigantic medium. It has amazing range. It has a deceptively huge hitbox, and it forms the core of his, like, mid-range poking option. Like, most of the time, When a Blanca player wins neutral, it starts with this. Outside of this button, his neutral buttons are a little bit stubby. So his neutral without this button in Modern is like 100 times worse. To me, this is the equivalent of, like, for example, Ryu losing access to crouching medium kick. That's how severe it is not having this button in Modern. It's actually insane. Now, on top of all of those normals I just listed that he loses access to, that's not even where the list ends. I'm just going to run through a few extra ones that he loses, which these aren't as important, but it's still worth mentioning that he loses these. So on top of all that stuff, Modern Blanca also loses crouch heavy kick. He does not have sweep at all. He also loses jumping light kick, which isn't that big of a deal. And he also loses jumping heavy punch. So you're probably wondering, like, okay, well, he loses so many vital tools in Modern. What does he get in return? And the answer is almost nothing. Because the thing is, Blanca is a charge character, which means that you don't really get any benefit from picking Modern. It's not like he has access to like a one-button version of his anti-air. You know, you don't get like a one-button DP. You still have to charge these things. Pretty much the only benefit you get out of Modern Blanca is one-button supers. That's pretty much it. You can do this with a single input. And that comes at the cost of pretty much everything else. So that's a tiny benefit relative to the list of normals that he loses. Modern Blanca, like I said earlier, is so much worse than Classic Blanca. He might as well not exist. There is a reason that I never saw anyone use this character. So after finding out all this information about Modern Blanca, I had to know more about this person. Like, why would anyone voluntarily play such a downgraded character at such a high level? So I did a bit of digging, and I found this. Let me show you this. This tweet comes courtesy with translation from Giuna. So Giuna says, this player is a bit unique. He does not play Modern Blanca because he's good or sees any benefit. He plays them hoping Capcom will buff Modern across the board by adding/adjusting the available normals. Quote, Modern is much more difficult than Classic at the highest level. So this lunatic, this legend, this Giga Chad is intentionally gimping himself in protest at poorly thought out Modern movesets. Like, my mind was kind of blown. When I first read this, I couldn't believe what I was reading. And I should also point out, it's not just CFN rankings, by the way. Like, Yukari has actually been cooking, even in the nightmarish Japanese CPT events. Like, let me just show you some recent results. What was this? About a week ago, they did the CPT World Warrior Japan #2. This was Yukari's run through the recent stacked bracket, full of world-class killers. I think there was 753 entrants. So he narrowly lost to Shuto in winners 2-1. And then went on to beat Eita, he beat Pugera, he beat Kawano, he beat Yanai, and he beat JR. And then lost to John Takeuchi for I think this was 9th place finish, using gimped Blanca. Which, I think this is amazing. This is an amazing result for someone who's intentionally using the Rock Lee wearing leg weights strategy. So the plan is, we're going to watch some replays. Pull up a chair with me, we're going to dive into some Modern Blanca action and see exactly what Yukari is cooking. See, the interesting thing here is, like, I kind of wonder if his opponents even know that he doesn't have access to overhead. Like, Yukari is cooking this guy in the corner with the Blanca-chan, but I would assume that people have so little knowledge about Modern Blanca. Do they even know there's not really a mix-up here? I would definitely get knowledge checked by that, by the way. If I hadn't done this content segment, I wouldn't even know that Blanca doesn't have overhead in Modern. So I would be, like, terrified of the mix-up that doesn't exist. Yeah, you guys see, this is really, really interesting. You see how, like, Yukari is using crouch medium kick as, like, their main poke in neutral? Because you have to. Not having crouch medium punch looks miserable for this character's footsies. Yeah, he's just buffering crouch medium kick, which is like half the range of crouch medium punch. I mean, he's making it work. Like I said, this guy is cooking. I'm just sort of fascinated by, like, how many concessions you have to make this character work in Modern. That was sick. Very nice. So he does the crouch medium kick drive rush, knowing that the Akuma player is going to go for the defensive EXDP option select, but cancels immediately out of the drive rush into hop to avoid the DP. That was really cool. Man, that's crazy. Isn't the whole point of modern that like your character does bad damage? Look how much damage this did. No super, by the way. Up ball, EX up ball. Casual 5,000 plus damage. I assume they're doing like full inputs for those. So there's no downside. Wow. Super optimal punish. Holy shit. You don't see that very often. It baits out the EX amnesia with the backdash and punishes with DI. I might just steal that. I didn't think you'd have enough time to punish with DI though. Wow, that's DI save? Alright, this guy's got the meaties. I thought for sure that DI was guaranteed. Mix time. Oh, just went for drive gauge damage. Smart. Didn't even need to use the level 1. Yeah, I feel like if your plan is to prove how bad modern is in protest, doesn't it sort of fall apart if you're still able to get like rank number 1 in the world and finish 9th in the CPT with modern Blanca? Like, isn't he kind of unproving his own point? I don't know. Maybe I don't understand the vision. Pull that drive gauge down the toilet. Gets the stun. Drops the jump in, but still gets it. Sneaky mix. One more. I mean, maybe it's a flex. Maybe it's just a big flex. Like, if I can do this much with like a nerfed version of the character, think what's possible if my power level was unleashed. Because yeah, like I'm not seeing like any upside to this. He even said himself there is no upside to this. I don't think we've seen a single like level 1 or level 3 on reaction like through a gap or anything. It's just downsides with no upside. This guy is literally nerfing himself. These are cherry-picked highlights. I mean, it's true, but still useful to see what he's cooking. All right, this is against Moke, one of the best Chun-Li players on the planet. Yeah, it's crazy to see him using like crouch medium kick as Blanca's main poke. Blanca's crouch medium kick really is not anywhere close to as good as like, you know, Shoto crouch medium kicks. Yeah, I mean, it's just solid reads. That's what's crazy about this, is that it's just like, because he's lost so many vital tools, it's just hard reads basically which is getting the wins. I'm not seeing like any real, you know, modern stuff, because there isn't really any modern stuff with Blanca. We need to get this guy to end his protest and start playing classic. I want to see the full potential. I want to see Yukari with the power limiters unlocked. Alright, that's disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. What the hell? Against Moke? Against Moke, you did hop into EX upball in his face? This guy's a troll. That's the ending Walker special, yeah. It was delayed upball as well. I would have got hit by that. 100%. Modern Jury versus Modern Blanca. These are the kind of bizarre matchups you can only see in Japanese ranked. I haven't even got time to look into Modern Jury right now. I have no idea what she loses. What the hell was that setup? Did you guys see that? He did like a backwards jump medium kick. What just happened there? Even the game didn't know what side Blanca was on right there. He did neutral jump and went the wrong way. Came down with cross-up jump medium kick. What the hell? That was sneaky. Even the game got mixed up. Check the drive rush with DP. Now that's... See, this is a good example. So, like, you know how I was saying earlier about how, like, I'm not seeing any modern specific stuff? That's a modern thing, right? If someone checks drive rush with raw non-EX DP, even if you covered up the M by the jury player's name, based on that alone, I would assume they're a modern player. Like, modern has certain tells, even if you didn't know. Things that no one outside of modern would be able to do reliably. But, like, Blanca just doesn't seem to have anything. Honestly, if you hid the M from Yukari's profile and asked me if he's using classic Blanca, I probably would have said yes. There is no benefit whatsoever. Is this gonna be double perfect? Oh, not quite, not quite. I want to see him like check a drive rush with level 1 super or something. Just to make it worthwhile. Alright, there we go. That's... We've been watching for like 10 minutes now. That's probably the first thing I've seen this entire time that looked like it was modern based. He finally got the one modern benefit, which was the level 3 reaction to the fireball. But yeah, other than that, this character is kind of garbage in modern. Alright, I mean, that was cool. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, we watched some gameplay. I'm still kind of fascinated by Yukari. I want to see more of this guy going forward. Like I said, he's been cooking in high stakes tournaments and stuff. I wonder if Capcom are gonna hear his prayers. Will this protest be successful? Will Capcom buff Modern Blanca? But anyway, I thought that'd be a fun little spotlight. I thought you guys might appreciate seeing a very unusual control scheme that almost nobody has made work, but one of the worst modern characters in the game. Yeah, I'm definitely a Yukari fan. That'll do it for today, and I will see you guys all in the next video.